What's going on, YouTube? John Shek back here with Underworld Tech. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about my personal rig and kind of talking from the ground up about how you should pick your PC parts. So I'm going to go in the order of how you should choose them. I'm going to kind of combine this video into somewhat two videos into one, and you'll see how it all plays out. Number one, CPU slash processor slash central processing unit slash heart of your build. So the CPU, the processor that I went with was an i7 5820K. It's a 6-core 12-threaded processor, LGA 2011-3 socket. I have it overclocked at 4.6 gigahertz at no, that would have fried it at 1.35 or 6 volts, something around there, so we can maintain that overclock. And of course I have the water cooling on it to bring those temperatures down. So you know, when you increase more voltage, I don't know why I'm saying that, when you increase voltage you increase heat output, so you need to be able to take care of that heat. Now the LGA is kind of a information. The LGA, because I kind of see a lot of people coming into this issue, not really an issue, but this question I should say, if like a Skylake will work on an X99 board or anything along those lines. So the they do not technically, but sort of. However, I'll get that into a second. The other main sockets are going to be your LGA 1155, LGA 1150, which is your 4th gen, which is like your i5 4690K, stuff like that, i7 4960X, stuff like that. And then you have your LGA 1156, your LGA 1366. Yeah, sorry, I had a brain fart there. LGA 1567, stuff like that. It's kind of a server socket. And LGA stands for LAN Grid Array. That's for the like the pins on the bottom, because they don't have pins anymore. They changed it to the LAN Grid Array, just the pads on the bottom. And the LGA 1155 is your Sandy Bridge, I believe. It's going to be your 3rd gen, like your i7 3820, 3690K, stuff like that. And their only way to get more cores out of your, like, not more cores, because you can't add more cores, but if you want more than 4 cores and 8 threads, or 4 cores, 4 threads, or anything like that, the predecessor to my processor, the 2011-3, is just the LGA 2011. And then the LGA 2011 and the LGA 2011-3 are going to be your sockets, your LGAs that have more than 4 cores. It's going to have your 6, your 8 core, now your 10 core with the new 6950X. So your 2011 and your 2011-3 are going to be your more than 4 cores. And X99 motherboards only support 2011-3 socket, and it only supports those kind of CPUs. However, the new Skylake that is going to be coming out, the Broadwell E, they are Skylake, but they have more cores than your regular Skylake 67 or 6700K, or your 6600K, your i5 6600, things like that. So it still is going to be Skylake, but they're going to have more cores than your regular Skylake processor. So they will be 2011-3, like your, oh gosh, what's it? I think it's a 68 6950K, your 6900K, and your 6950X are all going to be your new Broadwell E, and then also your Xeon, like your 2699 V4s, anything really V4, 2683 V4, stuff like that, are going to be your Broadwell E CPUs. Now, they will, like most motherboards, if you guys are planning on getting one of those, most motherboard companies will have a BIOS update to be able to use those Broadwell E processors, because it's going to be the same exact socket. And also companies are all coming out, like you guys know, with the new Asus Strix, the LEG, or LEG? The LED RGB boards are all coming out. ASRock's got one, Asus has got one. Bunch of companies do, and those are kind of gunned and aimed for the Broadwell E processors, the ones I just mentioned. Also, they will fit once the manufacturer puts a BIOS update out for the boards that are already out there. So that's kind of your processor. Now, the reason you want to go processor first, as far as when you're building your own build, is that's going to depict how much RAM you can hold, and it's going to depict how much, or not how much, it's going to depict what kind of motherboard you get. Like, let's say I want a LGA 1150 i5 4690K. That's going to be, clearly, I need a LGA 1150 motherboard, which is going to be mostly your X79s and stuff like that. Like, if you, let's say I want to go out and get a i5 3570K, that's going to be LGA 1155, so you need to get an LGA 1155 board. Again, like like I referenced before, the i7 3820, that's an LGA 2011. So you need to get an LGA 2011 board, and then you'll go to your RAM from there, and then the rest of the video, which we're going to cover. So the CPU is your heart. That is going to be the first pick of your build, because it's going to, like I said, depict everything else that you choose. Number 2, motherboard. That's your life. That's what you're riding on. That's your career. And what, I don't know why I'm comparing it to that. But number 2, motherboard. Now, the motherboard that I chose is a X99 gigabyte UD5 Wi-Fi. Now, the reason I chose this board was, again, X99 I needed because of the processor that I wanted, was an LGA 2011-3, and a lot of things that come with X99. Now, if you want a 6 or an 8 core processor, you're gonna have to choose really an X99 board or something along those lines, because you're going to need, of course, a board that can fit the socket of your CPU. If you don't really want all those bells and whistles, you that kind of comes with X99, because they figure if you're going to be using that many cores and that high end of a processor, those kind of bells and whistles are going to come with it. Now, they have different, of course, variation of how much extreme bells and whistles and kind of low-end bells and whistles of X99s. So the reason I went with mine is, you can't see it because it's behind the graphics cards, is because it has an M.2 slot. That was something really big for me, as far as the speed and things like that. And the, how do you say, you can only see one hard drive of mine, so that was another thing. Space. It's just a stick like that, and it slides into the board. So another thing with space, of course. And speed is there, yes, but I'm only getting SATA speeds because it is a SATA M.2 slot. I will also be doing a future video of M.2 and SATA. As for now, you can go who has one. I know Paul's Hardware, Jay's 2 cents, does a very has a very good video about M.2. As far as the PCI and how, and of course you use part of your lanes, that's part of your processor. So I went with SATA because it doesn't. Also, again, the reason why we went in order, I'll touch back on this point as to what I'm saying now. I'll come back to it. But that's another reason why I chose this board, was as far as the M.2 slot. It had the PCI X16 slots that I needed, because I'm running 3 graphics cards, so I needed more of those. It just fit my needs, and that's the reason I got it. You don't have to go out and get a balls to the wall motherboard, whatever you're using your PC for is what you're gonna be, of course, buying the parts that you need. Now, of course, if you want to future-proof it, you're gonna kind of get more than what you need, because you might never know if you're gonna pick up more hobbies in the future. So also keep that in mind. Number 3. Trey, is your RAM. I have nothing to compare that to, although I don't think I should do that anymore anyway. And the RAM that I chose, now there's a lot of different kinds of RAM, but there's really the ones that come with the heat spreaders on it, and then you have the, how do you say, God, what do they call it? I have in my build Crucial value RAM. That's what it's called. It's kind of it's still like your good timings and whatnot, but it's just kind of, it doesn't come with the heat spreader. It's just your bare naked, ugly green RAM. And the reason I went with that was, of course, the cost was great because it is cheaper, because it is value RAM. But I couldn't have heat spreaders because I have water cooled blocks on my RAM. So what I currently have and running is a Crucial 2133 PC for 1700, I believe, 2133. I have it overclocked to 2400 megahertz, and I'm running 32 gigs of it, 8 sticks of 4 gigs, and the reason I went with 32 is because I wanted to fill up all my DIMMs, and I wanted to have a good amount as far as, because I do a lot of video rendering, of course, content creation, YouTube, and gaming and things like that. Now, this is going to be, I believe, one of 3 things that you have to choose, because a lot of people fanboy out and whatnot and the other things in the rest of this video that I'll cover. But these are one of the 3 things that you have to choose that you'll be using your PC for. Like, I chose 32 gigs because I'm going to be doing a lot of rendering and things like that, so I kind of needed the RAM. Now, if you're really going to be gaming and web surfing, email, stuff like that, you'll only need sweet spot is 16. You're not really going to need any more than that. You just won't use any more than that. I only probably max out at maybe 2/3 on this RAM. And I have a MacBook Pro 15-inch, and I get close to that. I get up around, well, usage-wise at any given time, about 13 gigs, so I'm left with 3 gigs, and that's kind of for like the processor and operating system and whatnot. So I chose 32 because of that. Now, what you choose is what you'll be using. How much RAM do I need? It's a question asked all the time. And that question really comes down to, what are you going to be doing with your PC? Now, a lot of people want to have the big cojones, big balls, and they want to be able to, yeah, I got 64 or 128 gigs, and thing like, yeah, that's cool to be able to, you know, brag like that. But how much RAM do you really need is how much RAM you're going to be using. And that, you know, is kind of defined by what you are using your PC for. And like I said, a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's not enough, but they can't tell you what's enough for what you use your computer for. And so I went 32 because that's what I use. You might go with 16, maybe even 8 if you're kind of a low-end gamer, maybe. Play just strictly League of Legends, a little bit of email. 8 would be great for you. And then if someone tries to, you know, talk smack, you don't use a computer for the same thing they use it for. So that question always gets asked over and over again, how much RAM do I need? And it's whatever you use your computer for. Now, the timings and the amount, like I was just talking about, that matters to a certain extent. It really kind of mattered with your DDR and your DDR2, but we've come so far as DDR2 and DDR3 and DDR4, that the timings and the amount, again, defined by what you're using it for. They matter, but if you like search other videos, they don't really make that much of a difference, just because we come so far in technology that we have. And the DDR3 and DDR4 are so efficient that the timings and whatnot, they matter, but not a whole lot. And so that's kind of, a lot of people ask that as well. It ties in with how much should I get, what kind, how many megahertz, stuff like that. It's whatever you use it for, and the timings don't really play a huge factor because we're so efficient with RAM nowadays. Number 4 is your graphics card. Now this is kind of your last until you get into your graphics card, because you kind of picked out everything else. Your graphics card is somewhat of your last like big kind of hard item. Now this all, like the RAM, this all depends on what you're doing with your build. Now if you're internet surfing, you'll be fine with like a GTX 670 or something along those lines, maybe a 680 at the most. But if you plan on doing like hardcore gaming, you want it to look cool, and you kind of want to have those cojones I was talking about, and then kind of opt in for something that fits your budget. Don't go overkill unless you want to and you have it. But if you want something that's proficient enough, either go to my page for like reviews and whatnot, or some other tech reviewers pages and whatnot to kind of get your reviews. I am currently rocking some older generation GPUs, GK104s to be exact. No, yes, the GTX 780 Ti's. 2 of these equal a Titan Z, which I don't see why the Titan Z costs, when it did launch, $2,400, and then 2 of these would have cost $1,000. I don't know, but did have higher VRAM too? Who knows? Anyways, I'm not getting into that because NVIDIA is like, why you? It's so stupid of a card. Anyways, I'm rocking 3 780 Ti's. Each of these nowadays, when I built this computer about 5 months ago, they were $300 a piece. So $369, yeah, almost $1,000 on graphics cards, which isn't bad. That's what most people spend if you're going SLI. Like 2 970s would have been the same as this, but this kind of outperforms that. So yeah, anything SLI, I should say, really, is going to be about $1,000. Any single card variant will be anywhere between $400 and $750. Now your choice, what your pocketbook will allow you to do. Now if you want to kind of get good performance at somewhat of a bang for your buck, then AMD is a good choice, but the drivers and whatnot and Mantle and the APIs are just, I don't know. From my opinion, again, I'm not a fanboy, but in my opinion, they're just not there for AMD. That's why NVIDIA, how it works with Windows and your computer is just like, it's like flawless, like waves. They just roll. Okay, anyways. And then stop comparing computer parts so worldly about waves. Anyways, so yeah, like AMD is a good bang for the buck, but like I said, it's just, I don't think it's there. I've tried them, and I did have 2 R9 3DXs in here, and I just couldn't, I just got so frustrated with it, I took them out. And then I went back to my 780 Ti's, because they're flawless. As far as like gaming, I get anywhere from 90 to 120, 30 FPS, even in max settings, which is great. But it's a good performing machine. So also what you're doing with it. Now us content creators, a lot of Premiere does your CUDA, takes your NVIDIA cards, and a lot of other OpenCL and stream processor programs, like I believe Sony Vegas is one. I'm not really too sure about the others because I'm not too much AMD, but those other ones will utilize AMD more. Now, which, like I said, I'm not a fanboy. I'm not gonna go NVIDIA. No, I'm not like that at all. Whatever what you're doing with it is what you're gonna choose. However, if you're maybe down the road you want to get into something else, or you want to get into content creation and whatnot, then NVIDIA is very well rounded, I think, as far as hitting most corners. And then that leads us into number 5. Your power. Your power. Wow, I'm really weird. Okay, that was really ridiculous. Power. Supply. Yeah, this thing down here. Your power supply. Now, again, to power my whole system, I chose a, is it RX? RMX, okay. It is a Corsair 1000 watt or RM 1000X 1000 watt power supply. And the reason I went with that, and that's kind of somewhat of the last part that you pick of your build, because after you get your CPU, your RAM, your motherboard, your graphics cards, you're gonna kind of need to know how many watts you need to power that. Now, like again, like for instance, before these I had two. I kind of wish I still had them. I had two Asus Platinum Poseidon 780s, and they were absolutely phenomenal cards. And the box says they required 500 watts each, so that means I needed a 1000 watt power supply plus whatever for the rest of the components. That's ridiculous. That's not how it works. That's them overrating, because they'd rather over deliver than under promise. You know what I mean? Or over promise instead of under deliver. It kind of took me a minute. I have a lot of those moments. Anyways, I digress. Back to the point. They did that for that reason. So you don't need 1000 watt solely power supply to feed two Asus Poseidon 780s. You just don't. That's just kind of what they say to be safe as far as the realm, for you and for them. Now, of course, I'm running 3 GTX 780 Ti's, which I think at TDP or the wattage is 300 watts each. And that means I have to have 100 watts to feed all my LEDs, my fans, my reservoir, my pump. Reservoir doesn't need power, but my pump, my LEDs, my fans. That's just... So, they're not... I don't even think the fan spins. Yeah, it's not even spinning. So it's very power efficient as far as when you get up to gold, platinum, and titanium certified power supplies. I will be doing a video on what the 80 plus standards are. And so when you get to into those higher standards, yeah, 1000 watts. But I have a wall wart down here, and it's only pulling this whole system. My monitors are only pulling 500 watts total, 575-ish, something like that, with the computer and everything. So it's very power efficient. And it's what I needed to be able to do all the PCI Express lanes, no, not lanes, all the PCI Express connectors on the rail, 12 volt rail that I needed to feed the graphics cards of mine, and also for the motherboard and whatnot. It's what I needed. Again, what you need, that is number 3. So what you need in your build that nobody else can really tell you, because what you use it for is your power supply, your RAM, and your graphics cards, and cards, and somewhat your CPU, because that's your choice from the get. So I went with that because it's what I needed. You might only need a 700 watt or an 800 watt. Maybe you're doing a little mini ITX build and then you only need a XFX 350 watt power supply. It's a little babe. You never know. Whatever is right for you, however many PCI you need on the rail, the 12-volt rail. It's like whatever, how many connectors you need. It's totally up to you and what your needs are. That's why you choose the graphics card and everything before this first, before you get to that, so you know what you need to power it. And so again, that comes down to your choice and what you need for the rest of your system. Which brings us to, last but not least, number 6, our storage. And now, again, so I guess you can kind of add that to the list as far as what you need and what you're going to be doing with your computer, your PC. It's basically the whole build, but the main important things are, again, is your RAM, your graphics cards, your power supply, and your storage, because you need to know how much, if you're gaming a lot, you need a lot of storage. And things like that, so you need to know what you're doing with your build as far as what kind of capacities you need. Now again, like I said in the beginning of this video, I have a M.2 slot that is a 500 gig Crucial SATA, not PCIe, SATA M.2. I also have this Kingston HyperX Savage 240 gig, and then also on the way very bottom here, you can kind of see it right, oh, where's my finger, there it is, right there, you kind of see the middle a little bit. It is two mSATA 120 gig Kingston mSATAs. Now they are both on a PCB. I wish I could show it to you, but you can buy them online for like $8. It's a PCB board that's got 2 mSATA ports that you can put 1 or 2 in, and it comes out to a 1X PCIe slot. And you can put it in there and have it's still only going to do SATA, but you're utilizing PCI lanes, which kind of sucks because you're not using PCI anyways. You're not getting those speeds. But if you didn't have any more ports, or you didn't want to clog up the system, like I didn't have that much space, because I have so many cables behind this system in the back panel. It's unreal. I didn't really have that much space to add any more SSDs. They're 3.5-inch drives, so I have about 1 terabyte of solid state storage, and I can utilize that space by using small M.2s or mSATAs, and kind of positioning good places like this Kingston HyperX Savage drive up in the corner there, to utilize space. Now again, it's what you're using your computer for. A lot of people go with 128 gig or 256 gig solid state, load your OS, maybe your Steam application, and then you have whatever other applications that you want to use quickly that load up in a snap, like your operating system. But if you want to, like, for hardcore storage, like all your games, like GTA 5 is like what, 65 gigs or something, like, it's just like ridiculous. It totally chewed up my mSATA. It's unreal. But they have 128 or 256 gig solid state for all that, and then they have a regular 3.5-inch HDD hard disk drive for all the heavy, like GTA 5 and your applications like that to store on, that you don't really need to load so quickly. Now it's not like, oh, it's gonna be so slow that you're gonna notice it. It's still gonna be somewhat quick, but not as quick as the solid state. Now your storage, again, is up to you. It's how much you need. Again, I know a lot of people either go with the 1 or 2 terabyte 3.5-inch drive and a 128 or 256 gig solid state drive. That's kind of like your ideal situation as far as your computer build, because it's a lot of data, a lot of good solid state storage, a lot of good hard disk storage for your big quantity of stuff that you need to store. And then last but not least, this is kind of like a, if you decide to, last but not least, part of your PC build, which most everybody does, which is number 7. Okay, we had to look at that. That's terrible. Your miscellaneous, not miscellaneous, but your, how do you say, your add-ons, I should say, like LED strips, like my modding I have here, my diamond grate, stuff like that. More fans that came with more than that came with the case. I have 2 strips, one that I got online for like, I don't know if you guys can see it probably, that came online for about, I got 5 meters for about, I think $13, something along those lines. And then I got a Hue in here, NZXT Hue. Not the Hue Plus. I wish I got the Hue Plus, but they were all out, unfortunately. Excuse me. Like everywhere I looked, they were out, so I couldn't get a Hue Plus. But the Hue Plus is really kind of the same concept as a Hue, so I was like, okay, I'll get the Hue. And it's kind of cool because you can see I have white and red LEDs. I kind of like that a lot. It's in 2 different colors. Pretty cool. So again, that's up to you. That's your taste. You don't have to have any. I know some people, I saw PC build ones that only had LED ringed thermal take fans, and it gave it a nice soft glow. It was actually really cool. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty neat. Did not have any LEDs, just a soft glow. He had 7 or 8 of them, I think, so it gave off a really nice soft glow. As far as just the LED rings or the LED light coming off the ring fans. So it's your taste, whatever you want to add. Like I did a little bit of modding in here with the diamond gray that I have here on my power supply on top of my graphics cards and in front of my radiator, just to kind of spice it up. And I'm gonna add this in real quick if you guys are wondering what is around my reservoir. Guess? Anybody? Guess? Well, you're guessing. Go ahead and hit that like button. Let's go do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Okay. While you're guessing, which I just gave you that time. Okay, anyways. So you're guessing? Any answers? Any? Huh? No? Okay. I'm gonna show you. Let's cut to it. Cutscene. So coming up from down underneath my desk is that cooler that you saw. I have of course I have an intake. You need an intake and an outtake to go back to the cooler to recycle it. It's kind of like a homemade water chiller, if you will, but it doesn't go into the direct loop. It comes up into it first, then goes into the top of the radiator, or I'm sorry, it goes into the top of the reservoir through a coil, copper coil. And then it comes from the bottom back out of the top of the reservoir into the outside copper coil, and then it leaves out, goes back out of the bottom of the case and back into the cooler, and etc. etc. So my PC's already cool because of the water cool, but it's even cooler because of the ice and the dry ice that I have running through it and touching the water and cycling and making everything cooler. The lowest I got it was about 11 degrees Celsius, and that was like gnarly. It's great for my overclocks. You have no idea. I think I got my system to boot, but it wasn't very responsive. I think that's like maybe, like, I don't know if it's a world record or whatnot, because of course LN2 and stuff like that. But on strictly water cooled, I got it up to 4.8 gigahertz at 1.41 volts. Now, of course, don't try that on air. Please don't. Again, I'm not liable if you do. Do not try this on air. Bumping up your voltage or really overclocking. Some coolers, like the Hyper 212 Evo, you can do a little bit of overclocking on. I believe Cooler Master makes a vapor chamber heatsink tower heatsink that you can do a good overclocking on, and Noctua does as well. But you can't push 1.41 volts into that kind of cooler. It just won't work. You need water cooling for that for sure. But there's a little quick tidbit about that as far as my mod and whatnot. But yeah, that kind of sums it up, guys. So again, that's my PC, y'all. Phenomenal build. I really enjoy it. Works out for me really well. I'll do a second video, follow-up video to this. As far as my whole kind of setup, my whole kind of desk setup, I'll give you a quick peek. Though it's kind of messy right now. There's my phone. I got triple monitor, Apple monitors. So they're not the greatest panels, but I'm not any kind of a panel freak. I just really I'm kind of an Apple fanboy. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's my computer, my kind of desk and whatnot. Now kind of go through my peripherals and whatnot as far as what I have. But that's going to sum up this video. Now, I hope you guys liked this video if you liked it. This if you didn't like it, and tell me why in the comments why. Constructive criticism I love. It helps me get better videos, better content to make you guys smile more. I hope. Unless you've already exited out and then you didn't even see this and yeah. Anyways. So yeah, like this video if you liked it, this if you didn't, and then go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And as always, don't forget to watch the video, which I'll post here, as far as, or down in the description as well, how to enter the giveaway each month. This month is special. Phenomenal. If you guys haven't already seen it, watch it. It'll blow your freaking mind. Makes me excited talking about it. I'd get some myself, but I'm really satisfied with my graphics cards, so I'm thinking about it. I might, but we'll see where it goes. But yeah, go and watch that video as far as how to get entered in the giveaway if you're just now watching my channel. As always, subscribe and go ahead and hit that like button and watch that video as far as how to enter, what you have to do, what stipulations are, and how to enter. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.